like Jack Ciattarelli.
She's not from New Jersey. So I got a really simple idea, Hazlitt. You ready? How about we elect a Jersey guy?
Both candidates in a tight race as New Jersey voters decide.
It's good to see people out in my town.
Yeah, the biggest issues being a New Jersey voter is definitely like taxes.
Every decision that these politicians make affects at some point, trickles down to your own home.
In Philadelphia, all eyes are on the race for district attorney. Democratic incumbent Larry Krasner challenged by Republican Pat Dugan, who switched parties to try to unseat Krasner. This is Election Day 2025. Well, good evening, everyone. We are coming to you live from the CBS News Philadelphia election headquarters. I'm Natasha Brown.
And I'm Yuki Washington. In addition to New Jersey governor and Philadelphia district attorney, there are other races we are watching in Pennsylvania and in New Jersey, including whether voters want to keep or replace judges on the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court.
That's right. Voters are also choosing a district attorney in Bucks County, and the Garden State's Assembly seats are on the ballot as well. But we do have some breaking news for you right now. Chester County polls will stay open until 10 o'clock this evening after the names of thousands of Chester County voters did not show up in the poll books. Now, the names of all 75,000 voters registered as unaffiliated or with third parties were missing from the books as the polls opened. Any registered voter whose name did not appear in the poll book was allowed to vote by provisional ballot. Now, Chester County says it rushed supplemental poll books to all 230 precincts by 3:45, but we just got word again that a judge approved an extension of voting hours. Provisional ballots can be cast now between 8 and 10 o'clock tonight.
Meantime, Natasha, in New Jersey, the hotly contested governor's race appears to be driving people to the polls. In some locations, there has been a steady stream of voters all day long. State data already revealed that early voting numbers are up this year. People we talked with in Washington Township told us the voter turnout seemed extremely high for a non-presidential election.
I've never seen it so crowded here. It's huge, yes.
In the morning, they said it was really crazy, you know? So that's why we came in the afternoon.
It's the most crowded I've ever seen. I lived here about 35 years.
I wasn't expecting this at all. All the years that I voted, this is like a spectacle.
And I think people want a voice. They want to be heard. So that's what's going on today.
Polls in New Jersey closed at 8 o'clock this evening after being open since 6 a.m.
And in Philadelphia, despite the battle for district attorney, voter turnout appeared more modest at this polling location at the Kimmel Center in Center City, Philadelphia. Our cameras also caught voters showing up to perform their civic duty at St. Andrew Lithuanian Catholic Church in the city's Spring Garden neighborhood. Now, Philly voters wanted to make their voices heard in the many state races on the ballot.
Now, possibly the biggest race in our area, the one for New Jersey governor. Many see this as a referendum on the Trump administration. And right now, CBS News is characterizing this race as leaning toward Democrat Mikie Sherrill.
Well, Sherrill's opponent, Republican Jack Ciattarelli, of course, he was crisscrossing the Garden State as well. He was trying to drum up his supporters. So here are the results right now. The polls closed about an hour or so ago at 8 o'clock. We're going to take a look at the results so far. 41% of the vote in right now. Yuki, you can see Mikie Sherrill in the lead, 56.7%. Republican Jack Ciattarelli with 42.8%. Again, 41% of the vote in so far.
Well, we have live team coverage for you tonight. Ryan Hughes is with the Ciattarelli campaign in Bridgewater. But let's start with our Dan Snyder in East Brunswick following Mikie Sherrill's campaign. And Dan, folks there have to be happy with the numbers we just showed.
They certainly are, and you can hear that behind me right now. Welcome into the ballroom at the East Brunswick Hilton right now, where New Jersey Senator Cory Booker is speaking on stage right now. He's riling up the crowd, but it's really a crowd that has not needed much more energy pumped into them. Every time on these big screens behind them, they see results come in, you hear loud cheers. There is a lot of optimism. There is a lot of enthusiasm in the ballroom right now. And, you know, this has been a lengthy campaign for Sherrill, going going back a year, going all the way through that crowded Democratic primary. We've spoken with campaign officials today. They feel it was their message that resonated specifically on affordability. They feel like they had a winning message on affordability that could reach New Jersey voters, not just Democrats, they say, but those unaffiliated voters and even moderate Republicans to sort of swing them their way. But they are not looking at this as just a New Jersey race. We know there are a lot of eyes around the nation on this race. We spoke with Senator Cory Booker earlier this evening, and he said, you know, this is not just a test for New Jersey. This is a test for the nation. Take a listen.
Donald Trump has done in 10 months is make things more difficult. He's made our nation sicker and poorer, removing and gutting health care, removing and gutting a lot of the bedrock programs people rely on when times get tough, all to give billionaires the biggest tax cuts in the history of America. And so this is a reckoning. Today is a reckoning. And I'm so happy that New Jersey is the first state that's standing up and saying we're rejecting Donald Trump and his policies. And congressional Republicans should be listening to this right now, because we're going to go back, and I want to get to the table, open government up by negotiating a lowering of people's health care costs. If they continue to refuse to do it, they're out of step with the American people, and the midterms, which are this time next year, they're going to pay a price for it.
So again, we're approaching about half of that vote being in here in New Jersey. Still waiting on a couple counties, including Middlesex, where we are right now. That was a solid Phil Murphy County 4 years ago. Mikie Sherrill would obviously look to continue that, but I can tell you, supporters, party officials, lawmakers that are in the room here, they are all quite excited, as you can hear, about the returns that they are seeing early on in this race. We'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Dan. We're certainly feeling that enthusiasm there where you are. Now, let's switch over to Ryan Hughes live at the Ciattarelli headquarters in Bridgewater. Tell us about the mood there. What's the tone like, Ryan?
Yeah, hey there, Natasha. As these returns come in, I just spoke to a few people. They tell me they still remain positive. They said they put in months of hard work and believe that the night is still young. But I have to say, the energy and the tone in here has changed over the past 30 minutes. Take a look. This is a huge crowd here. We are inside the main ballroom at the Marriott Hotel in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Now, the signs on the wall, they say it's time. They are hoping that the third time is the charm for Jack Ciattarelli. This is his third time running for governor. He started the day at a diner in Morris County meeting with voters. Then he popped in at several other diners encouraging people to head to the polls. He is with his family tonight, and speaking of family, Ciattarelli received a major surprise when his son Jack, who is a captain in the Army, surprised him. He's been deployed overseas, but he flew home and surprised his dad yesterday at a campaign event. Ciattarelli is hoping that one of his biggest supporters, his son, is his good luck charm. He has been crisscrossing the Garden State, as you guys said at the top of the show, saying he is the right person to move New Jersey forward. He says people are not better off today than they were when current Governor Phil Murphy took office. Voters have been telling us all along their main concern is affordability. High property taxes, utility bills, and housing costs. Ciattarelli says if he wins tonight, he will address the affordability crisis on day one. So as we come back out here live, again, everyone here is hoping for a victory party tonight. We are going to go speak to some more supporters to see how they are feeling as these returns starting to come in, not in Ciattarelli's favor early on, but again, they say they put in a lot of hard work. They do believe that this night can turn around. Guys, back to you in the studio.
All right, Ryan, thank you so much. We're going to check back in with you shortly. Now, let's take another look at how we stand in the New Jersey race for governor. As we mentioned, CBS News is characterizing this race as leaning Democratic, and we can see already with about 40% of the vote in that Mikie Sherrill has 56.6% of the vote, 42% going to Ciattarelli at this point. And joining me now to talk about this very important race for New Jersey governor is an expert in American governors, Christopher Shields, director of the Eagleton Center on the American Governor and assistant research professor at Rutgers University. Christopher, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let's talk about your reaction to what you're seeing so far. Mikie Sherrill starting off very, very strong right now throughout the Garden State.
Yeah, I think it's not a huge surprise. The early returns tend to be a lot of the early votes, a lot of the absentee votes, the mail-in votes, and those always do tend to be really positive for the Democratic Party. So I think we expected to see good numbers early for Mikie Sherrill, and then Jack Ciattarelli maybe close the gap a little bit as the night goes on. The question is whether he's going to be able to close the gap enough, because it is a pretty significant gap at this point.
Yeah, we can see that already. Well, let's talk a little bit about voter turnout. We understand throughout the Garden State, voter turnout has been very, very robust. It's been a steady stream of voters throughout the state. What is that telling you, and usually who does that bode well for?
Yeah, it's huge, and turnout was one of the really big questions coming into this race, was what the turnout was going to be like, and the voters answered in huge numbers. The turnout was really big this year. You know, it's hard to tell exactly who that favors, but usually in New Jersey, a higher turnout race favors the Democrats because there frankly are more registered Democrats in New Jersey than there are Republicans. So if they can get, you know, a higher percentage out, then you're talking about a higher percentage of a higher number. So usually that's going to favor the Democrats, but it's not a sure thing.
And what do you think is driving folks to the polls right now?
I think it's a lot of things. I think people were really invested in this race. It's a really important time in New Jersey right now. You talked about those affordability issues. That really was what was driving the race. But you know, it's also a situation where there's so much going on at the national level. There's so much going on in politics. And this is the first opportunity for voters to have their voices heard since last year's presidential race. So I think a lot of people were really motivated to go out, make sure they were participating, being civically engaged, and having their voices heard to let people know what they think about what's going on in the national scene.
Yeah, and Christopher, since we're talking about the national scene and kind of what this all entails and what this could possibly mean for President Trump right now in his second term, I mean, what are your thoughts just about that? They're saying this is the first big test, of course, in his presidency.
Yeah, I think we don't know yet. I think also we have to be careful because things change very quickly in politics these days. If Mikie Sherrill is able to hold on and win, I think that it does send a message. At that point, the question would be what the margin would be. But I don't think we're quite there yet. So I think we'll have to wait and see what it means. But certainly, you know, the eyes of the country were on this race even more than the Virginia race this year, I think. So there are going to be a lot of people taking a lot of messages. And I think a lot of people who are running next year will take some lessons from whatever happens in this race in terms of how they approach next year's midterm elections.
All right, Christopher, and one last thing before we let you go. We're going to keep talking to you throughout the night, but let's talk a little bit about some of the counties that we should be watching specifically for Ciattarelli. We know that Gloucester County, Atlantic County, those counties, he won in 2021. So what are you expecting to see there tonight?
Yeah, I think South Jersey is really interesting in this race because neither candidate is from South Jersey. They didn't spend a whole lot of time in South Jersey over the course of the campaign, either candidate. So I think it's really interesting to see where that goes. If Mikie Sherrill can sort of stay close in a couple of those counties that you mentioned and keep him from running up the numbers also in Ocean County, Cape May County, I think that would be a really good sign for her. So as we watch those returns come in, it's not that she needs to win those counties, but if she can keep it close, I think that makes it harder and harder for Ciattarelli tonight.
All right, Christopher Shields, thank you so much. We're going to be checking back in with you shortly. We do appreciate that. Now, Yuki, over to you.
Natasha and Christopher, thank you so much for that. You know, one of the big races in the city of Philadelphia is the race for Philadelphia City Controller. Incumbent Democrat Christy Brady and Republican Ari Petrinos. You're looking at the numbers right now, and right now, 91.3% for the incumbent Christy Brady. The other big city race for District Attorney. Let's get right to CBS Philadelphia's Alicia Roberts at the election warehouse in Northeast Philadelphia. That's where they are counting the ballots tonight. Alicia, good evening.
Yeah, it is bustling behind me here. Good evening to you, Yuki. That's right. We are at the city of Philadelphia's election warehouse where, as we speak, they are counting the mail-in ballots. And we just got an update from the commissioners that all of the mail-in ballots that were received by late yesterday have been scanned and counted. That number now totaling more than 73,500. And we are told mail-in ballots are up from 4 years ago. So some early return numbers there on mail-in ballots. Let me step aside. Behind me, you can see a group of election workers. They are actually double checking those yellow envelopes to make sure no ballots have been missed. And certainly here in the city of Philadelphia, one race of high interest, as you mentioned, is for District Attorney. And let us show you some of the early numbers from the county commissioner's website right now. The race between Democrat Larry Krasner and Philadelphia Municipal Court Republican Pat Dugan. Right now, Krasner is leading by by 81.5% of the vote, 18.5% of those votes going to Dugan. And that is for those mail-in ballots, the 73,500 plus that we mentioned. So still a lot of votes to go. That does not include in-person voting, but some early numbers out of the district attorney race. Of course, this race of high interest because Dugan stepped down midway through his third term last year to mount a challenge against Krasner for the Democratic nomination. Krasner defeated Dugan in the May primary, but then Dugan switched parties in August to run in the general election as a Republican. So certainly a race to watch. And again, we're still waiting for a lot of the totals to come in, including those in-person numbers. Here at the election warehouse, we are told that these workers will be here around the clock 24/7 to make sure that every vote is counted. And one of the changes this year, you'll notice, is that we're actually inside. County commissioners saying they have nothing to hide. They want the vote process to be transparent. They want people to know that they take their votes seriously and that every vote will be counted here, and the work is not done until that mission is achieved. Yuki, we'll send it back to you.
And every vote indeed counts. Alicia, thank you so much. Some other numbers to look at now. The race for Bucks County District Attorney, incumbent Republican Jen Shorn with 29.4%, but Joe Kahn is in the lead right now with 70.44%. In Pennsylvania, voters are deciding whether to keep 3 of the state Supreme Court justices. Governor Josh Shapiro has said that this is one of the most important races in the nation. Since 3 Democrats are up for retention, Republicans want to be able to flip the court, which right now has a 5-2 Democratic majority. So let's take a look at the results right now. Voters simply went with yes or no to retain Pennsylvania Supreme Court Judge Kevin Dougherty, and there you have the numbers. 72.4% right now saying yes. Let's look at the response to retain as well. Supreme Court David Wecht, and Wecht 71.2%. Once again, the answer is either yes or no. And the vote to retain Pennsylvania Supreme Court Judge Christine Donahue, and here are the numbers. So far, so good, 71.7% affirmative. We're coming right back with more coverage of Election 2025. Voters decide. Back in a bit.
When you need a voice. CBS News Philadelphia came out. The crew was here.
When you
need answers.
Can't believe it. They put the money back after you got in touch with them.
When you need a break, we're in this together.
We got you.
We got you.
Heart, hustle, home. CBS News Philadelphia.
When you need a voice. CBS News Philadelphia came out. The crew was here.
Thank you so much for being here. It means the world. When you
need answers.
Can't believe it. They put the money back after you got in touch with them.
when you need to feel
safe.
These people here is just awesome. They saved my life. He came out and pulled me out of the car.
When you need a break,
When something happens, we're here for each other.
we're in this together. We got you.
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 Well, welcome back, everyone, to the virtual studios here for election coverage, Election 2025. I'm Natasha Brown. Thanks so much for joining us. We are getting you through the night, giving you some results here. One of the most important races of the night that has the eyes of the nation on it right now, that would be the New Jersey governor's race. So we can tell you with 58% of precincts reporting at this point, Mikie Sherrill with 56.6% of the vote and Jack Ciattarelli with 42.9%. So we're going to kind of break down some of the counties here. 21 counties throughout the Garden State making up the state of New Jersey. In Burlington County here, Mikie Sherrill has 65% of the vote with 46% of precincts reporting. Jack Ciattarelli with 34%. Let's go here to Gloucester County. Now, this is a county that Jack Ciattarelli won in 2021. So right now, 81% of precincts are reporting, and right now 51% for Mikie Sherrill, 47.5% for Jack Ciattarelli. So right now, that county that Ciattarelli easily won back in 2021 is now skewing blue and going toward Mikie Sherrill with 51.8% of the vote. Let's go to another area that Ciattarelli performed strongly in back in 2021, and that would be Atlantic County here. This is Burlington County as well. Atlantic City. Let's go to that. 57.2% of the votes in for Mikie Sherrill. Jack Ciattarelli with 42.2%. That's 46% of precincts reporting. Let's go to some of the red areas here that are voting for Ciattarelli at this point. Ocean County, that is not a surprise. That was a county he was expected to win. It usually skews Republican. He has 65.6% of the vote there with Mikie Sherrill, 33.9% of the vote, 84% of precincts reporting there. So let's talk also about some of those North Jersey counties that were expected to perform heavily for Mikie Sherrill. Right now in Bergen County, she's got 60% of the vote, only 37% of precincts reporting. Jack Ciattarelli with 39.7%. Let's go back here to Cumberland County. That was another county that we were watching as well in South Jersey. Again, Ciattarelli had been canvassing the state and crisscrossing the South Jersey area, trying to drum up support there. Right now, he's got 50% of the precincts reporting in Cumberland County, 56% for Mikie Sherrill, and Jack Ciattarelli with 42.7%. So we're going to keep an eye on these races and these counties as the numbers come in. New Jersey's governor's race is one of two governor's races tonight. They are both thought to be a referendum on the Trump administration, both the Jersey and the Virginia race. Joining me now to talk about those races and other national races that we are watching closely is Anthony Salvanto, Director of Elections and Surveys for CBS News. Anthony, as always, great to see you on an election night. So let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing so far in the Garden State.
Okay, it is great to talk to you. And yeah, this is how we at the data desk categorize the race right now as likely Sherrill. That's not a projection yet, but things are clearly moving in her direction. And what I mean by that is if you look at some of the key counties, and you were all just talking about them a little bit, I'm going to show you just a quick comparison of, say, to the last governor's race, right? Sherrill doing about what she would need to do in some of these key counties, like Bergen County, in fact, even a little bit better percentage-wise. One of the things we do at the data desk is we look for those kinds of patterns, and if statewide those patterns hold up, then that's when we see things trending toward a particular candidate, in this case, that's Sherrill, right? So that's what we've got for New Jersey. The other part of this, and I'm going to show you the way our models break down, right? If we take all of our data and we put it together, this is the range right now of estimate for Sherrill. This is the range of estimate right now for Ciattarelli. And you'll still see some overlap between the two, right? That means we haven't projected the race yet, but you do see that Sherrill's range is higher now than Ciattarelli's, and that's why we call it likely. So that's a little bit of a breakdown of the way we read through all of that data, give you a little insight on what's going on in New Jersey.
Well, also, Anthony, let's talk a little bit about turnout. We knew that that was going to make all the difference in an election that we thought was always going to be close here. What are your thoughts about voter turnout today and how that's making all the difference likely?
Very strong, right? Very strong. In some ways, we got it, in fact, even higher than some of the things we expected. And the other place to look for turnout, I just want to put you here in New York City, because the eyes of the nation are really on this, too. New York City could hit over probably will hit over 2 million in turnout, and that's a strong showing as well. So turnout clearly a factor across all these races as well.
And Anthony, lastly, what do you think is driving the turnout for this particular election? Like, again, not a presidential election. This is usually not a high turnout type of an election. What's driving the turnout this time?
A lot of the folks in the exit polls tell us they're thinking nationally about this, not just about cost of living, not just about affordability, but also about the president. And so that's been on their mind. So it's a little bit of a national focus as well. I'm going to tell you, we're looking pretty hard at the trends in New Jersey. So I'll just tee it up, but I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, so you're looking at the trends in Jersey. And also, can you tell us, Anthony, we're kind of getting some information. Is CBS calling New Jersey? We're getting some information about that.
We are looking hard at it. We are looking hard at it. I will be back to you momentarily, but stand by.
Okay. I think we've got some breaking news here on the horizon, Anthony. We do appreciate your time here, and I know you've got to get busy here giving us some updated information. But again, we are waiting to get more results from New Jersey. You just heard Anthony there talking to us a little bit about some of the trends that he's already calculating and seeing. We can see here now, let's talk about the Associated Press already calling the Philadelphia DA's race for Larry Krasner. It will be his third term. Let's look at the numbers here. He clearly eased past Republican Pat Dugan. Larry Krasner with 81% of the vote, Pat Dugan 18% of the vote. Keep in mind that Pat Dugan, of course, ran against Larry Krasner in the primary as a Democrat, flipped to the Republican side in the general election here. So again, no contest here. Larry Krasner will see a third term. And I'm hearing this breaking news in my ear that CBS News is calling the New Jersey governor's race for Mikie Sherrill at this hour. Mikie Sherrill, CBS News, according to CBS News, calling the governor's race in New Jersey for Mikie Sherrill. She will be the second female governor in that state's history. And this is actually going to only be the third time since the 1960s that the same party has maintained this seat. So a Democrat holding this seat 3 terms in a row hasn't happened since the 1960s. So we're going to stay on top of all this breaking news, bring you the very latest when we come right back from this break.
Heart, hustle, home. CBS News, Philadelphia.
When you need a voice, CBS News Philadelphia came out. The crew was here.
When you
need answers.
Can't believe it. They put the money back after you got in touch with them.
When you need a break, we're in this together.
We got you.
We got you.
Heart, hustle, home. CBS News Philadelphia.
This is a CBS News Philadelphia election update. I'm Mikie Washington.
And I'm Natasha Brown. Breaking news right now. CBS News is calling the race for New Jersey governor. CBS News has now called the race for Mikie Sherrill. She will be the second woman to become governor of New Jersey. CBS called that race just minutes ago. We broke that news for you here on our streaming channel.
And another race attracting a lot of attention, Philadelphia's Attorney General. The Associated Press is calling the race in favor of incumbent Larry Krasner, who is running against Republican Pat Dugan. 81% of the vote for Larry Krasner to 18% for Pat Dugan thus far.
Well, our Voters Decide election night coverage, it does continue right now on our streaming channel. We will have another check-in right here at 10:30. You can keep watching on our website, CBS Philadelphia.
It's Mikie Washington. Need help getting your free CBS News app? Take a minute now to scan the QR code on your screen and download the free CBS News app and connect to 14 local CBS newsrooms all across the country. Here's what you do. It's simple. Download the free CBS News app. Head over to settings to set your default local station. That's it. You're good to go. Good to go. You'll get alerts no matter where you are. It's news in real time with more live hours, community journalism. You'll get your favorite CBS programming as well, your local forecast. It's all the power of one CBS. So when it's happening in Philadelphia, get your news, weather, and live stream all in one place. Download the free CBS News app today. You are watching CBS News Philadelphia's live coverage of Election Night 2025. Voters Decide. And we are coming to you live from our election headquarters.
And we start with some breaking news at this hour. If you live in Chester County, Pennsylvania, you have until 10 p.m. to get your vote in. Now, this is because the names of all 75,000 voters registered as unaffiliated or with third parties were missing from the books as the polls opened. Any registered voter whose name did not appear in the poll book was allowed to vote by provisional ballot. Now, earlier, a judge approved an extension of voting hours. Provisional ballots can be cast between 8 and 10 o'clock tonight, so you still have some time.
Indeed. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Mikie Washington.
And I'm Natasha Brown. And one of the big races tonight, of course, that would be New Jersey governor's race. And CBS News is projecting Democrat Mikie Sherrill has won the election, beating Republican Jack Ciattarelli. So you can see some of the results here. The final results, 57% of the vote for Mikie Sherrill, 42.4% for Jack Ciattarelli. Now, Governor Phil Murphy says that he will meet with the governor-elect, who we now know is projected to be Mikie Sherrill. Tomorrow morning, they will be talking and meeting at the State House.
Let's check in now with our Ryan Hughes. He's camped out tonight at the Ciattarelli election headquarters in Bridgewater. And Ryan, what's the atmosphere like now after the numbers we just read?
Yeah, Yuki, Natasha, we've been seeing a lot of people wearing the color red. They were hoping that Jack Ciattarelli was going to be able to turn New Jersey red tonight, but we're starting to see the disappointment on some people's faces as now the news spreads that Mikie Sherrill is the projected unofficial winner of the race for governor. Take a look around, because this is the main ballroom here inside the Marriott Hotel in Bridgewater, New Jersey. We spoke to a couple supporters a few minutes ago. They said they're trying to stay positive. They know that they put in a lot of hard work, but again, this is a disappointment for them. This is not the outcome that they were expecting tonight. We are told that Ciattarelli, he's been surrounded by his family as he was watching those returns come in. We want to show you some video of his son, Jake. He is a captain in the Army. He's been deployed overseas. He flew home and surprised his dad yesterday at a campaign event. He was hoping that his son would have been his good luck charm, but it doesn't appear that that is the case. People here tell me they believed in Jack Ciattarelli. They liked what he stood for. They believed that he was the right person to move New Jersey forward. They tell us their main concern throughout the course of this campaign has been affordability, the high cost of living, high property taxes, utility bills, housing costs. And take a listen to one supporter about why she said she cast her vote for Jack Ciattarelli, but remains a bit disappointed right now.
Every time he's interviewed, he answers every single question in such simple language that anybody can understand it. You know, sometimes politicians, they have all these words and they're mishmash and they don't answer the question. And you walk away saying, what did that person say? I know exactly what he stands for. I know exactly what he's going to do. And everything he says, I agree with.
So again, the mood has changed here at Jack Ciattarelli's campaign headquarters. When everyone came here originally, they were excited, they were laughing and smiling. Then at one point, when that race was called, the music went off. The room was almost silent at one point. Again, a lot of disappointment. They say that they put in a lot of hard work. They believed in Jack Ciattarelli, but they said it was a tough hill to climb. We are told that he is here at the hotel. He is expected to address his supporters at some point. We will bring that to you live when it happens. For now that we are live in Bridgewater, Ryan Hughes, back to you in the studio.
And Ryan, we will get back to you when that happens. Thank you so much.
Well, now let's check in at the Sherrill campaign with our Dan Snyder. A very different mood there at this hour, Dan.
Absolutely, guys. It's a party here at the Hilton Ballroom in East Brunswick, New Jersey. Just a few minutes ago, when that projection came through on the big screens behind me, it was an absolute roar in this packed ballroom right now. And you can hear people still celebrating that news as it comes up on the TVs. They are excited, and they were optimistic going into tonight. But seeing that come up on the screen, that Mikie Sherrill has been projected the winner in this governor's race, really just led to a loud roar throughout this room. And, you know, we just heard from the state Democratic Party chair, just excitement coursing through folks here. I did have a chance to speak with campaign official Sean Higgins earlier today. He said they were optimistic going in, and here is why he said that.
There has been a lot of Democratic enthusiasm in the final weeks of this campaign, and we saw that bear out in the early vote and vote by mail data. The Democratic Party, Mikie Sherrill, has built a 300,000 vote firewall leading up to tonight. That's the margin between Republicans and Democrats going into election night. And we've seen really good turnout across the state today. So we're feeling good, we're feeling confident, and we believe Mikie's message about a different kind of leadership, someone who stands up for New Jersey, not Donald Trump, is resonating. And her focus on affordability and bringing down costs, especially utility costs, is resonating and is going to push her over the top.
Guys, you look where the Congresswoman did well tonight, how she was able to kind of build up this advantage. A lot of it is in South Jersey. We talked about those counties to keep an eye out for. Gloucester, Cumberland, Atlantic. You look at Gloucester County right now, 91% of the vote in there. Mikie Sherrill leading that by 4,300 votes. That's a county Jack Ciattarelli won 4 years ago by about 10,000 votes. Currently has a lead with 50% of the vote in Cumberland County. A lead in Atlantic County with 50% of the vote in there. So that's where she really ate into those numbers and was able to get this projection of her winning this race. Now we stand by and we await the Congresswoman to give her victory speech here. And of course, we'll bring that to you as soon as it happens. Natasha, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Dan, we're going to get back to you as soon as that happens. Thank you so much. Now let's check in with our expert once again tonight. Christopher Shields is director of the Eagleton Center on the American Governor and assistant research professor at Rutgers University. So Christopher, just your response now that the race in New Jersey has been called for Mikie Sherrill.
Yeah, good timing while we're on the air, right? It certainly looked like it was trending that way. The votes, you know, like I said, we expected it to tighten a little bit. It really hasn't tightened very much. And I think Dan hit the nail on the head there in talking about South Jersey and the strength that Mikie Sherrill has shown in South Jersey. And it just became pretty clear at this point that she's going to win. The question now is what the margin is. And that's a really important question in terms of what we take from this race and what it means moving forward.
Well, what do you think there is to learn from this race? It's been called for Mikie Sherrill, and obviously her message is what resonated most with New Jersey voters. What do you think other Democrats can take from this message moving into the midterms?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of that depends on what the margin is. You know, the margin right now, we expected this to be a close race. Right now, the margin is not very close. If it stays that way, I think what it says is that Democrats are really engaged. I think that her attempt to sort of combine the affordability argument, the state level arguments, along with tying Jack Ciattarelli to Donald Trump, I think that resonated. I think that did energize Democratic voters. That was sort of the question coming into this, was whether Democratic voters were going to be engaged, whether they were going to be ready to go out and vote. And she rallied them. She got them out. And I think she deserves a lot of credit for that. But I think moving forward, I think you'll see a lot of candidates next year really trying to tie those home pocketbook issues to also the national Trump-type issues.
And also, Christopher, we saw that voter turnout certainly seemed to make a big difference, obviously, in this kind of race as well, a gubernatorial election that usually has lower voter turnout. So tell me what your thoughts are about that and what really was driving folks to the polls.
Yeah, I think it shows an incredible amount of enthusiasm. You're never going to get turnout in a gubernatorial race that you do in a presidential, so it was never going to match, say, last year, but it's significantly higher than it was 4 years ago. And what that means is that people really wanted this opportunity to get out and have their voice heard. And if it holds up, the Democrats hold like a double-digit lead. I think that really says something about the way people think, what people think, at least in New Jersey, is going on at the national level. So I think that there are some lessons to be taken from that. And I think that the enthusiasm is just really high for this race.
And also, Christopher, we know that lots of folks were saying this is the first real test for President Trump in his second term here. What are your thoughts just about what the message is overall when it comes to that on the national level?
Yeah, I think we don't want to take too much from it because it is a situation where, you know, things change quickly in politics, and especially right now. What's important right now might not be important at all in a couple of months. But at the same time, I think Republicans have to be a little bit concerned about what they've seen tonight. You know, the Democrat won fairly comfortably in Virginia. Now you have the Democrat possibly exceeding expectations in New Jersey. So I think that there's got to be some concern from the Republicans at the national level as we go into the midterms next year. Is this a sign that Democrats really are ready to sort of make that pushback against the Trump administration as we head into next year?
All right, Christopher Shields, thank you so much for joining us and for your perspective tonight. We do appreciate that. We're going to check back in with you shortly. And also, here are the candidates for Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey. As we know, CBS News projects Democrat Dale Caldwell will take office. He was up against Ciattarelli's running mate, Republican James Gannon. The only other gubernatorial race in the nation is in Virginia. That would be my home state. CBS News is projecting Democratic U.S. Representative Abigail Spanberger will be the next governor of Virginia. She ran against Republican Virginia Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. Spanberger makes history as the first female governor in the state of Virginia. Now, we are, of course, processing all of this right now, all of the results that have come in, the projected winners. We're coming right back with you with more on Election Night Coverage 2025.
When you need a voice.
CBS News Philadelphia came out. The crew was here.
When you
Need answers.
can't believe it, they put the money back after you got in touch with them.
When you need a break, we're in this together.
We got you.
We got you.
Heart, hustle, home. CBS News Philadelphia.
When you need a voice.
CBS News Philadelphia came out. The crew was here.
Thank you so much for being here. It means the world.
When you
Need answers.
can't believe it, they put the money back after you got in touch with them.
When you need to feel
Safe.
These people here is just awesome. They saved my life. He came out and pulled me out of the car.
When you need a break,
When something happens, we're here for each other.
we're in this together. We got you.
We got you.
We got you.
got you.
We got you.
We got you.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to our election coverage here in our virtual election studio. We can tell you that the New Jersey governor's race has been called for Democrat Mikie Sherrill. With 63% of precincts reporting at that point, she has 57% of the vote. Jack Ciattarelli with 42.4%. And again, she did perform very, very strongly in some of the counties that Ciattarelli won in 2021. We're talking about Gloucester County. 81% of precincts were reporting there. She got 51% of the vote to 47.5% for Ciattarelli. Let's talk about Atlantic County. That was another county that went to Ciattarelli 4 years ago. This year, 57% of the votes went for Mikie Sherrill and 42% for Jack Ciattarelli. Now let's also talk about Burlington County. That was a strong showing for Mikie Sherrill. 65% of the vote for her, 34% for Mike Ciattarelli. And also some of the other South Jersey counties that really seem to make all the difference in Mikie Sherrill's win. Cumberland County here, 56% of the vote for Mikie Sherrill and Jack Ciattarelli with 42.7%. So you can see that's what made all the difference, those South Jersey counties, especially the ones that Ciattarelli won. She was able to flip back to the Democratic side in this particular election. So let's talk about some of the other elections that were happening throughout the area as well. We're talking about the Philadelphia District Attorney's race. So we know right now that this was an easy win for Larry Krasner, the incumbent. The Democrat, 79% of the vote went to him. Pat Dugan, his Republican challenger, got only 20% of the vote. So Larry Krasner will head into now a third term. Let's talk about the judges, because all you had to do was vote yes or no on a retention for 3 of the Supreme Court judges in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And these were easy wins: a yes for Christine Donahue, a yes for Supreme Court Justice Kevin Doherty, and also a yes for David Weck to be retained as well. So they will all now go into another 10-year term. And we've got some breaking news as well that we need to tell you about. CBS News projecting Zohran Mamdani has won the hotly contested race for New York City mayor. The Democratic Socialist and Assemblyman defeated Democrat and former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who was running as an independent, and Republican Curtis Sliwa as well. Now, he built his campaign on progressive ideas and a focus on affordability in New York. Mamdani is the city's first Muslim and South Asian mayor, and at the young age of 34, the city's youngest mayor in more than a century. He will succeed Eric Adams. So these were always 3 of the most hotly contested races that the nation was watching: the gubernatorial race in New Jersey, the gubernatorial race in Virginia, and the mayor's race in New York City. Now let's take a look at some of the results also coming in from the New Jersey State Assembly races. District 1, Atlantic, Cape May, Cumberland counties, incumbent Republican Antoine McClellan, Democrat Carolyn Rush, Democrat Carol Sabo, Republican Eric Simonson. New Jersey State Assembly District 2, part of Atlantic County, incumbent Republican Don Guardian, incumbent Republican Claire Swift, Democrat Maureen Rowan, Democrat Joanne Famulero. New Jersey State Assembly District 3, Cumberland, Gloucester, Salem counties, incumbent Democrat Heather Simmons, incumbent Democrat Dave Bailey, Republican Chris Conwell, Republican Lawrence Moore. Now, New Jersey State Assembly District 4 here, Atlantic, Camden, and Gloucester counties, incorporating this, incumbent Democrat Dan Hutchinson, incumbent Democrat Cody Miller, Republican Amanda Esposito, Republican Gerard McManus. Now, here are more results as we go through the night. We go to break as well. We are going to bring you more results from the State Assembly here of New Jersey and more results coming in throughout the night here. We're back with you with the very latest on Election Night 2025.
When you need a voice. CBS News Philadelphia came out. The crew was here.
When you
need answers.
Can't believe it. They put the money back after you got in touch with them.
When you need a break, we're in this together.
We got you.
We got you.
Heart, hustle, home. CBS News Philadelphia.
When you need a voice. CBS News Philadelphia came out. The crew was here.
Thank you so much for being here. It means the world.
When you
need answers.
Can't believe it. They put the money back after you got in touch with them.
When you need to feel
Safe.
These people here is just awesome. They saved my life. He came out and pulled me out of the car.
When you need a break,
when something happens, we're here for each other.
we're in this together. We got you.
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 Well, it is election night 2025, and we are watching all of the races that affect you. Let's take another look at the results of some of the biggest races of the night.
New Jersey governor's race. CBS News once again projects Democrat Mikie Sherrill is the winner versus Republican Jack Ciattarelli. You can see with 75% of the vote in, Sherrill with 56.5%, 1.3 million votes. Jack Ciattarelli, 42.9%, just over 1,000 votes.
And for Philadelphia District Attorney, watching that race tonight as well, Associated Press projects incumbent Democratic candidate Larry Krasner is the winner, the easy winner against challenger Republican Pat Dugan. You can see there no real challenge at all. Krasner heading into a third term with 79% of the vote. Pat Dugan, 20.8%.
And Natasha, Philadelphia City Controller incumbent Democrat Christy Brady is the projected winner against Republican Ari Petrinos. 89% to 11% with 37% of the vote in. This was called a while ago for the incumbent, once again, Christy Brady.
And in Pennsylvania, also voters were deciding whether to keep 3 of the state Supreme Court justices. Governor Josh Shapiro has said this is one of the most important races in the nation. Since 3 Democrats are up for retention, Republicans want to be able to flip the court, which right now has a 5-2 Democratic majority. Again, that did not happen tonight. All 3 of those Pennsylvania Supreme Court justices were retained, and they will continue another 10-year term. We're talking about Judge Kevin Dougherty here, with 63% of voters saying yes, he should be retained. Also, PA Supreme Court Judge David Wecht, again, another yes. It was just a yes or no vote here on the ballot. Yes to retain him as well. And PA Supreme Court Judge Christine Donahue, again, 63% of voters saying yes, we should retain her as well.
And Bucks County District Attorney incumbent Republican Jen Shorn against Joe Kahn, the Democrat. And right now it's 68.15% for Joe Kahn in Bucks County for District Attorney over Jen Shorn.
And we're going to get back to Dan Snyder. He is with Mikie Sherrill's campaign there in North Jersey. And we know that, Dan, it's pretty much been a festive environment there for you throughout the night, just solidifying that celebratory mood with a win for her tonight. So tell us a little bit about what you're seeing there, the excitement there. Also, we're waiting to hear from her as well.
Right, I don't even have to tell you. You could just hear it behind me right now. In fact, this is Mikie Sherrill's family that is coming up to speak at the microphone right now. I believe this is her husband and her children, some of her family members who are coming up. We just heard from the projected winner of the lieutenant governor's race, Dale Caldwell. He was just up on stage. So a really lively and excited crowd here in the Hilton Ballroom in East Brunswick right now. But, you know, this has been a lengthy campaign, a bitter campaign at some points between Mikie Sherrill and Jack Ciattarelli through those 2 debates. You know, even through the Democratic primary process, a packed Democratic primary process. But you look at what Mikie Sherrill and was able to achieve tonight. You know, you go into areas like South Jersey, Gloucester County. That was an area that Jack Ciattarelli did really, really well in 4 years ago. Mikie Sherrill, with 95% of the vote in, is leading in Gloucester County. We go down to Cumberland County, another one of those counties that Jack Ciattarelli flipped, a huge flip back in 2021. Mikie Sherrill leading there in Gloucester County. Same goes for Atlantic County, and it really across the board, Sherrill just eating into areas that were big for Ciattarelli 4 years ago, and why she was able to get this projection as a winner right now. But this was a very optimistic room as this night started. People were enthused, they were excited, they said they felt good about what the results would be tonight, and it has just exploded, especially when it came up on those big monitors behind us that Mikie Sherrill was going to be the projected winner of this race. I mean, this room just lit up here. A lot of excitement going on. We should be moments away from Congresswoman Sherrill giving her victory speech right now. For now, we'll send it back to both of you in the studio.
Hey, Dan, all expectations leading up to this very moment that we are all talking right now, it was supposed to have been, as we all have seen and heard, a very close and tight race. The results thus far, do you think that has shocked anyone in the room behind you right now?
You know, I don't know if folks here would say outright that they are shocked, but it's got to light up the eyes a little bit here. I mean, you know, even the polling we had, yes, there was the edge for Sherrill there, but it was pretty close, even right up to the end. There was some narrowing going on there. So, you know, I think people will be shocked when they look at the results here. But, you know, Yuki, for the last few months, we also talked about how this was going to be a turnout race. Which one of these candidates was going to energize people? Which one of these candidates was going to drive drive their voters out to the polls and really get that pre-election day vote and that election day vote. And the early vote was so significant, I think, for Sherrill when those first numbers came in from a lot of these counties. You saw leads for Sherrill, leads for Sherrill, leads for Sherrill. Would Ciattarelli be able to bring that up? And let me pause here because I think we are going to get Congresswoman Sherrill coming up to the podium. And yes.
And people around the country have heard you. I hear you too. This was a tough fight, and this is a tough state. But I know you, New Jersey. We love you! And I love you. I've fought for you. I've spoken with thousands of you over this last year. I know your struggles. I know your hopes. I know your dreams. So serving you is worth any tough fight I have to take on, and I am incredibly honored to be your next governor. When I was 18, I raised my hand, and I swore to defend the Constitution. And that moment defines me. It taught me that leadership means carrying the weight of other people's hopes, standing firm when it's easier to bend, and always putting the common good above personal gain. And I know how hard it can be to serve in these times. And I just got a call from Jack Ciattarelli, and I want to recognize him for stepping up. And our state motto has always stuck with me. In 1777, New Jersey was one of the first states to choose a motto. Anybody? Liberty and prosperity. I'm going to get some more civics education going. We'll get that known by all. But it was a demand for freedom from oppression and a commitment to creating better opportunity and a better future. That idea has defined us for almost 250 years. We fought for liberty at the crossroads of the American Revolution, turning the tide for our young nation at the battles of Trenton and Princeton. We offered prosperity as we built the nation during the Industrial Revolution. We've been the cradle of scientific discovery, inventing everything from the light bulb to the laser. Liberty and prosperity. I've seen the genius in that motto over the last year because both are essential in our democracy. And as the president is backing away from this ideal, cutting SNAP, ripping away health care, terminating Gateway, we here in New Jersey are bound to fight for a different future for our children. We see how clearly important liberty is. We know that no one in our great state is safe when our neighbors are targeted, ignoring the law and the Constitution. But prosperity is equally essential. Liberty alone is not enough if the government makes it impossible for you to feed your family, to get a good education, or to get a good job. So in this country, that shouldn't be too much to ask. But right now, all of it seems at risk. Governors have never mattered more. And in this state, I am determined to build prosperity for all of our citizens. And I've heard from thousands of you about what liberty and prosperity mean to you, what it's going to take for your family to thrive. So I hear you, Newark. I'm going to work with communities from the ground up so all of our neighbors thrive. I hear you, Sham, so I'm going to declare a state of emergency on day one to drive down your utility costs. I hear you, Westfield, so I'm going to make sure our kids are safe online and schools have the resources they need to address the mental health crisis. I hear you, Jersey City, so I'm going to hold government accountable, balancing individual liberty with collective responsibility, ensuring people are safe, healthy, educated, and free to pursue their dreams. I hear you, New Jersey. Good government doesn't just manage problems, it solves them. So I'm going to continue to listen and work with you to move our state forward, because I have learned so much as I've traveled our state. Our innovations, our businesses, our inventors and entrepreneurs have amazed me, but it's the people that have left the biggest mark, especially those who are fighting for prosperity for their entire communities. I was moved during my block walk in Trenton with Shanique as she spoke so passionately about the promise of her city and her neighbors despite the challenges. I love the group of young men from Monroe who've been hard at work on this campaign. They want a seat at the table and they're ready to fight for their future. The little girls who come up to me to say that they're going to be a governor or they're going to be a president. It reminds me of my own belief that anything was possible. Akeem's team, who worked their butts off, knocked over 60,000 doors. Akeem told me these are not the kids who will succeed in Trump's vision of this country, but they will in mine. The men and women in labor. Union jobs at a time when our economy is set up to make it harder and harder for working people. You know what? They don't just fight for their brothers and sisters in labor. They fight for all of us. For working families everywhere, so everyone has a shot. So thank you. Thank you to each and every person here tonight and across the state who's worked hard over the last year. Thanks to the thousands of volunteers who made millions of calls, texts, and canvases. To everyone who's ready to stand and demand a better future for our kids and our families. To my running mate, Dr. Dale Caldwell. You've already served our state so well, and I'm proud to have you by my side as we embark upon this new chapter for New Jersey. To my team, who put together a campaign the likes of this state has never seen, and helped in our efforts to create a great future for New Jersey. And thanks to my family. Who put up with missed soccer games, lacrosse games, football games, volleyball games, swim meets, and rugby games, all to put up with this, so thank you. And a special thanks to my husband, Jason. Through 4 kids, 2 dogs, a hamster, numerous goldfish, 5 campaigns, an insurrection, and 2 impeachments. You have been a truly amazing partner. So thank you to everyone who's joined me in fighting for a better future. I know these are tough times. I know not everyone voted for me, but I'm working for everyone. Every single one of you. When we all do better, we all do better. So tomorrow begins a new day. And at each new day in New Jersey, the sun rises over the Statue of Liberty, a daily reminder of her promise. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. She declares that her lamp lights the path to the golden door. That golden door is New Jersey. It always has been. And that expectation is well deserved, especially after this election, where we chose, we're going to follow Lady Liberty's beacon. We're not going to give in to our darker impulses. Here in New Jersey, we know that this nation has not ever been, nor will it ever be, ruled by kings. We take oaths to a constitution, not a king. We've chosen liberty, the very foundation of democracy, and we've chosen prosperity necessary to create opportunity for all. So New Jersey, to quote the boss, the future is now. Roll up your sleeves, let your passion flow. The country we carry in our hearts is waiting. Thank you, New Jersey.
All right, we have been listening to Mikie Sherrill there, the projected winner in the New Jersey governor's race tonight, addressing an enthusiastic crowd of her supporters. She is only the second woman to hold that office in the Garden State's history.
Governor-elect Mikie Sherrill courting the boss as well. That's going to do it for our live election coverage for now. News will continue here on the stream, and we will be live here and on television to wrap up all of the day's big races at 11. I'm Yuki Washington.
And I'm Natasha Brown. Thanks so much for watching, everyone.